Hey everyone, I hope you've all been enjoying your time at home recently. My name is Alex, and with the help of Nir, we're going to take a few moments to talk about some important concepts from Weiner's Chapter 5, So Smart, but looks like he lacks executive presence. So, what do I mean by executive presence? There's two parts to it. The first is acting composed, followed by looking composed. Now, I want to take a few moments to examine the first one. In terms of acting composed, this includes a lot of essential nonverbal communication, but more importantly, it's the way that you communicate with customers, coworkers, and upper management alike. When you're meeting someone for the first time, shake their hand as if your intention is to convey a high level of confidence and a strong demeanor. Because our eyes tend to influence our message more than our actual message, combining this with proper use of facial expressions will boost your credibility in the workplace environment. Time is also another critical factor. Communicate a calm presence by taking control of it, not having it control you. Think about the messages that you convey by running late to every meeting, by not submitting your work on time, or by being ill prepared for the day. The idea is that if you're ill prepared for the day, you're likely to be ill prepared for the next day and perhaps for the next week. So make use of company time efficiently. Another element to acting composed is the way you move your body. Your credibility is always being assessed in the workplace. So in order to gain recognition and stand out, learn to walk, sit, or stand like you are meant to be there as if you belong. This will also boost your credibility. Now, shifting gears a little bit, now I want to talk about looking composed. The way you dress conveys a level of control and execution, which means that this can either help or hurt you. So don't be the person that takes casual Friday to the extreme or pushes it way too far. You have a dress code in place, and I understand that it might not be specific a lot of the times by nature, but as long as you stay within that frame of reference by looking around you or engaging what the dress code actually is, you should be okay and maintain your credibility. In terms of grooming, this is special in a way that it depends on the coworkers or the people around you. So it's better to be safe than sorry by maintaining proper grooming, as you are less likely to cause discomfort among your coworkers. A good example of this would be my hair right now. If a supervisor saw this right now, he or she would be likely to make the quick judgment to say that my hair is out of control and that I'm not displaying professional etiquette. So it really depends on the person. This can also send the wrong messages to upper management or can influence strong decision making. In terms of looking composed, it also means decorating your space and creating an impression even when you're not in the room. So seize the opportunity to create a good impression by signaling some type of executive presence. There's a lot of examples to this. A good one and a safe one is to have pictures with any type of political figure, pictures of achievements or scholarships. Oftentimes we see college degrees posted on the wall, and this is because it conveys a level of professionalism and experience. Now I'm going to pass it on to Nir to talk about professional presentation.
Good morning. My name is Naranjana, and today I will be talking about how to increase your credibility as an executive presenter. So you might have the credit, you might have the knowledge, you might have the expertise in your field, you might be the best of the best. However, if you can't present effectively, or if you're a poor presenter, it might end up hurting your credibility as an executive presenter. So there are five main areas that the article talks about when it comes to improving your presentation skills. The first one is maintaining eye contact. The second one is pacing. The third one is showing passion in your presentation. The fourth one is perfecting your stance. And the fifth one is do PowerPoint slides. So with eye contact, you're always told to maintain eye contact with your audience. However, to make that even more effective, the most important part of your information comes at the end of your sentences. So if you were to time your eye contact with your audience during those last 3 to 4 words, that would make your presentation even more effective. For example, when I say, we can reduce your costs substantially without sacrificing quality, that tells my audience that I am emphasizing on effectiveness, and that it makes them more inclined to be want to buy my product. As for pacing, uh, we're always told to engage our audience in our presentation, and when it comes to pacing, a lot of people interpret that as having to move across the floor in order to deliver the information. However, that can actually make your audience very nauseated. And in order to control that, the article recommends that you follow the, the posture of a tree, where you're rooted to one spot, but you use your arms to gesture when you deliver your information. As for passion, if you don't really sound passionate about what you're delivering to your audience, that might work against you. And one way to show that you're passionate about the topic that you're speaking on is your voice inflection. If you talk really loudly and clearly, it shows your audience that you're enthusiastic and confident about what you're talking about, thus building more credibility. Excuse me. As for the fourth area, that's your stance. So when it comes to, if you've ever seen a billboard, when you drive past it, you often see a celebrity with a product. And this is a strategy that a lot of companies use to market their products. So they'll associate a celebrity with a certain product. So when you drive past it, you always tend to associate this one person with the product. And that's actually a really good strategy to have when you're presenting yourself. So if you stand behind a podium while you're presenting, people are not going to associate your slides with with the information you're presenting, and that again might work against you. A perfect example of following this kind of this kind of stance where you stand near your slides is when Weather Channel reporters use the green screen to talk about the weather on a daily basis. Lastly, with PowerPoints, you want to stay away from maintaining an element of secrecy with your audience, and by that I mean list all your bullet points in a concise form without any fancy transitions, so there are no surprises for your audience, and focus on the top 3 bullet points that you have and put an emphasis on those. So what this does is your audience can see the information that you're about to talk about. However, giving or elaborating on those 3 bullet points shows them that you're putting an emphasis on those 3 topics versus the 10 that you have. This also saves time so that your audience, you don't lose your audience to all the information you're delivering to them, and they also get to see a kind of overall general view of your presentation. Now, a final thought on PowerPoint. So at its core, a PowerPoint is supposed to be a visual aid that you use to present or deliver your PowerPoint, or your presentation, excuse me. And if you look at great public speakers like pastors, presidents, other political figures, they don't really use a PowerPoint when they deliver their information. And that goes to show that a PowerPoint isn't always needed in a presentation. However, in the business world or a more professional world, as an executive presenter, your audience expects you to have a printed deck. They expect you to have your written PowerPoint slides projected on a screen, and they expect you to talk about it. So what a PowerPoint really is a ritual without value. However, it can be used as an aid to enhance your PowerPoint, and that's exactly how it should be used. So make sure your PowerPoint doesn't overpower what you're talking about and doesn't become the basis of your presentation. And everything that we talked about, eye contact, your stance, your posture, your passion, should come from outside a PowerPoint. It shouldn't be dependent on a PowerPoint. So know your information well and be able to talk about it without having to look back at the slides every now and then. And that's all I would like to talk about when it comes to building your credibility by being an effective presenter. And thank you.
With all things considered, it's important to note that the key to having executive presence is a level of consistency throughout. You can't have one element and not the other without it hurting your chances of, let's say, a promotion or a performance review. So to wrap things up, there are a number of ways that you can boost your credibility and your executive presence in the workplace, and that often starts with your first impression. Were you too weak? Were you too soft? Were you too firm? Or were you just the right amount that you displayed a level of confidence and the customer now trusts you? Next is your time. How do you use time at the workplace? Do you use it effectively, or are you always struggling to make it to the door? And these messages convey a lot about you that you often don't tend to realize. The next up is looking composed. The way you dress and the way you groom often depicts your level of self-control and your professionalism in the workplace, and this can also boost your credibility or hurt you if you don't realize it. When it comes to presenting, you want to maintain eye contact at the end of most sentences. You want to use more gestures and less pacing around. When it comes to stance, you want to stand close to your slides as it narrows the focus down for your audience. In terms of PowerPoint, there is a business need to it, but its purpose is to aid you instead of take over what you are verbally expressing. And we appreciate your time and thank you for listening in. Here are our references, and I hope you all enjoy your day.